So we wouldn't play Memorial Weekend, so okay, like that Tuesday at like the 30th, and then Thursday the 1st, and then potentially like June 3rd.
No. I don't know, you're speaking, so maybe you don't have to. I'm not really speaking, I'm just speaking. This way you're looking for me.
We waiting on Lauren or?
Nope, Lauren is,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Okay. So it was the last one coming on. Your handwriting is certainly prettier. Yep.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Impressed us with getting them that way or something. We've got one coming. Roll call, would you mind doing this? No.
Terry Engel here, Amy Erke here, Aaron Phillips,
Here.
Dan Schmidt,
Here.
Lauren Shanerock is absent, Pat Tyre
Here.
and Rick Schultz.
Here. Have an agenda in front of us. Any additions or corrections, Mr. Mack?
No, nothing to the content of the meeting, just a note that again, we are moving Dan's hire and resignation as an action item, so that Dan can vote on the consent agenda and abstain from those two items.
Perfect. All right, with that, we would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Ms. Engel, seconded by Ms. Erke to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments this evening, Mr. Mack? No, we'll move right into the superintendent's report, and please start us on that.
Yeah, and what I'll do on this one here too is I'll have Mr. Budd and Macy share their information. We'll follow that up with Sarah and her information on food service. And then we'll take the tour of the buildings. We'll come back and then I'll hand out some information and kind of ramble on some things to share with you.
Fantastic.
So we'll start with Mr. Budden up first, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things I want to show you, and it's over here, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but because it's an external website, we can't do that and live stream at the same time, so it won't work. But what I wanted to show you, I'm not sure how much of you have heard about ChatGPT or AI, artificial intelligence. Well, it's here. And one of the things that we talked briefly about at the staff meeting the other day was that somehow, some way, we're going to have to figure out ways to work with it and to help kids understand what is a good way and what is not such a good way to use ChatGPT. Because it's not going away. It is not going away. It might stall out for a little bit if Elon Musk and the Apple CEO and a couple other folks want to slow down the development because they're worried about security risks and that. But the concept itself is not going away. So I did put, and if you can go forward to the next, keep going down. Oh, that's too far. No. Oh. I think that one. So right here I asked ChatGPT what it was, define it, and that was the response that it gave us. All right. I'm going to show you in a second how quick it is or how quick you can write something, do something. I also put on there some articles. We have shared some ways or some websites or some tools for teachers to check work to see if it was used, an AI was used. I think the most recent development, Ms. Bentley, forgive me if I'm wrong, but we use Turnitin to check for plagiarism, and now they have an AI component. And so I'll give you just a little demonstration. The thing about the AI is it gives some disclaimers here. May occasionally generate incorrect information. I'm going to show you, and we tested it out, didn't we, Miss Bentley?
Yes.
It will make something up, and it'll make it look like it's real, which is kind of scary. May occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. Well, that's no good either, right? And then it has limited knowledge of the world. And this is because this one is 3.5 and not 4.0, because I'm not going to pay $20 a month for 4.0, but 3.5 was free still. But, it has limited knowledge of world and events after 2021. So, but I put some searches up here, and I spent quite a bit of time. The thing about ChatGPT is it really, you have to be careful with whatever it is that you want to kick out. Your inputs need to be fairly tight. Otherwise it'll kind of do its own little thing. But I'll show you, maybe here's some incorrect information. So I looked up, I did this during Easter weekend, replaced the oil pressure sensor on our 06 Impala SS. Gives all these great instructions, right? They're wrong. It says that it's on the side down here, down toward the bottom of the engine. Well, no, the SS, it's up here. So there's a lot of incorrect information out there as well. Here is a lesson plan. This is maybe the good part of it. I said, I was a Spanish teacher, so I said generate a lesson with activities with the verb ser, which means to be. And voila, materials, warm-up activity, presentation, practice, production, wrap-up, and guide to assess it. Pretty good, pretty neat, helpful. Here,
Accurate in your opinion?
yeah, that one was pretty good. Yeah, and I did a couple other lesson ones that I did searches, and they were pretty good.
Okay.
Here is I did write a 5-paragraph essay in MLA format with citations why school should start later in high school. So I gave it some pretty good parameters, right? It spit it out with the works cited, the whole thing, in a matter of 45, 50 seconds or less. Here's the part that is the scary part too. If we get, if Mrs. Bentley gets that first draft, she's probably going to pick it up that, whoa, you don't write at the graduate level, right? Or university level or whatever. However, you can tell it
To dumb it down.
to rewrite it at X level, and it'll spit it out. That's the scary part of thing, scary part of it. So the staff, we talked also about different ways that the staff owns the document and they can tell when large things are cut and paste into a Google Doc. They can go back and look at that. And so there was some just brainstorming of ideas on how to try to keep as much plagiarism and things down as we can. Another one. Hey, you looking for a graduation speech? 6-minute graduation speech? There it is. Here's the one I wanted to show you. So Mrs. Bentley and I did this. She has a book that they read, Lesson Before Dying. And it's not necessarily a quote-unquote mainstream book. And so she said, well, let's try show the references of the sheriff in the book Lesson Before Dying. So it did it. It tells all, it's all made up, not 100, not even remotely accurate at all. So that's certainly a problem too with people gaining access to this information. It may or may not be true, but it's probably no different than going to Wikipedia or whatever and trying to copy and paste whatever Wikipedia has done. I will show you how fast this thing works.
As he's doing that, one of the conversations that we had, again, just that 5-paragraph, and boom, 50 seconds later, there it was. Nope, rewrite it as a 7th grade level. There it was, and kind of the fear of that. And then he typed in something that said like, write a memo from the principal to the staff about being in the hallways, the supervisor in between classes, something like that. Boom, it wrote this very nice letter, a memo, and again, 30 seconds later, it was well written and very appropriate. And we said, wow, that's awesome, that it would help so much.
Sure, yeah.
It's bad for students, but it's good for adults.
Sure.
And again, there's a million different discussions you can have on that, and brain development, so on and so forth, but it's an interesting conversation to have. Where is it not good, and who's it good for?
To Ms. Bentley's example, if I'm a student in the secondary, if I can't trust it, I mean, I'm taking this chance that number one, I'm going to do poorly on this assignment, and number two, I'm busted because where did I get the information from, correct? I mean, do you see it being a full-fledged pandemic in the...
Yet? No.
Okay.
Have we seen bits and pieces of it? Yes.
Perhaps.
I had 2 cases in a single day.
Okay.
A student got up to give a speech, and the vocabulary and the quality of the phrasing were just a bit too much, so I asked him to share the document with me.
Sure.
I ran it through the checker, and it came up at 100%.
Wow.
Another student turned in an essay, and he had used AI to write, it was a newspaper article about our school baseball field. And he had interviewed Mr. Reese, and so about the middle of his article where he spoke with Mr. Reese was original, but the opening and the closing of the article were just flowery language about how a baseball field is an integral part of a community.
Okay.
And so when I ran it through the checker, the opening and closing, about half of it had been generated by AI. I have my 10th graders writing a movie review right now, and so as an experiment, I entered in write a movie review why people should watch the movie Rocky IV, and just as he was demonstrating, boink, there it was. It was a well-written essay. If I hadn't known if a student turned it in and it was original writing, it would get a very, very high score.
Sure.
Can't you tell with some of the kids that you know their abilities from, having them in your class? So if they're gonna type something in and hand this,
Right.
even if they dumb it down a grade, for some of them, you're still gonna know that you maybe didn't do all of this yourself or something like that.
There are tons of things that trigger one's suspicions of But when you run them through all the various checkers available, then you have to come back to, well, they got an older sibling or mom or dad.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
So, and
Which
where
you
do you,
can't
where do you draw the line on that of,
the help.
if it's, right, is it research, and have you done the work? This is, obviously, is the extreme.
Yeah, it's, very much a judgment call and becoming more so all the time, thanks to
Interesting.
all the different ways a person can borrow writing.
But we keep trying to share as much information as we can about it as we learn more. And it's exploding quickly, just worldwide. I'll give you an example. I'll write a five-paragraph essay on the rules of American football and MLA style with citations. Go. Done. So, schools all across are, and colleges and everything will be battling this, but it's not gonna go away, and my thought is, okay, well, let's somehow, some way, we're gonna have to start teaching them how to properly use this, because we're probably gonna use it in life as well. This is quicker, easier than doing our Google searches anymore, right? When Google first came out, boom, it was right there on page 1, whatever it is you were looking for. And now when you do a Google search, it's on page 17 and you may or may not see it. You know, this is just a different way to do it, although it's generating stuff. And I guess like 4.0 can create songs and do some other things. And I think some of that got the big tech people pretty nervous, especially like the potential security risks and stuff, and so they're asking for a slowdown. Whether or not that'll happen, I don't know. But that's really what I kind of wanted to show you tonight. I mean, the rest of it you can take a peek at, but and if you want to try it, all you do, type in sign up for ChatGPT, and it'll ask, it does link your phone number to it. So I just linked my account with my phone number, it sends a verification code, and you're in, and you can start using it. But you might want to try it. It's neat, it's cool, it's powerful, but it's awful as well in the same breath. So.
Interesting, thank you.
Thank you. Right, yeah.
And now social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old days when Google was fast, remember those days?
Well, we did said the same thing about the internet or social media. You
Yeah.
know, it was cool, but, you know, people were leery.
All right, Macy.
It's changed so fast.
All right, good evening, everybody. I don't have a whole lot of new information. I'm just sharing some updates with you guys on kind of what's going on in our community education world. So our ECFE classes are almost complete. We wrap up on April 25th with an end of the year picnic. Hopefully we'll be able to have one this year. Last year I think we rescheduled it like twice and it kept getting canceled due to weather. So keep my fingers crossed this year because that's a really fun time. We usually have it out at Beaver Lake Park and just kind of do a potluck dinner and all the families come in and just kind of, you know, we go on a scavenger hunt and have a lot of fun. Preschool registration numbers, we have about 55 kids registered right now. Currently in our preschool class we have about mid-70s, 72, 73 kids registered. So over the summer we usually get 10, 15 more kids to register. We're actually doing pretty good for this time of year as far as registration goes. Otherwise, our TS Gold assessments are ongoing. We will have our last parent-teacher conferences this spring here, the last week of April and the first week of May. Our CRAT assessments are scheduled to be wrapped up by this Friday. Otherwise, we are having our preschool graduation. We used to have it in for the Ellendale crew over in Ellendale and the New Richland, but this year we're going to combine it and have it in the high school gym. Otherwise, early childhood screening, we have that April 21st. We have 11 kids scheduled. And here I just kind of laid it out for you so you can kind of see what our numbers have been over the last few years. So this was during COVID when we had a lot of restrictions placed on us as far as the spacing of all the kids went, so we didn't screen very many. Last year was catch up. This year's about normal with 55 kids if all of those 11 show up. Otherwise, with our school age care program, again, I just put some numbers in here. Currently where we're sitting at, last summer, we had a total of 51 kids registered, and those were anywhere from drop-in all the way up to full-time kids. Right now we're at 33, which is pretty good considering we still have a good month until summer hits, and usually everybody waits to register until, I don't know, the last week of the school year. Otherwise, for our preschool wraparound program, right now for our 3-year-olds in New Richland, we have 8 kids registered for preschool. And of those 8, all of them are signed up for wraparound care. We have 10 registered in Ellendale right now. There's just 1 signed up for wraparound care over there. And then the 4-year-olds, we have 18 in preschool in New Richland, 11 for wraparound, and then 18 in Ellendale with 7 for wraparound. What I guess our goal is to notify parents the last week in June if we're going to be open in Ellendale for wraparound care or not. These sites are each dependent upon a minimum registration number, and our parents know that going into it. And when we do our preschool open houses, that's one of the things we really make sure our families understand, is that these programs are all based on minimum numbers being met. So when we have that conversation with the parents, I just make sure that if they have daycare right now, to hold on to that daycare and then decide once we know for sure if the daycare over in Ellendale and even in New Richland is going to run or not. Otherwise, for our youth dance program, Saturday, May 20th is our spring recital. This last winter, each of the kids did 1 dance and then a grand finale with everybody. Now that we have 1 season under our belts, our kids are doing, each of the age groups are doing 2 dances and then finale. And we actually were able to get a parent and me dance class to run. I think we have, trying to recall, I think we have like seven parents and a parent and a child signed up for that. So it actually did pretty good this time around. Otherwise, our coach pitch registrations, we have 102. Last summer we had 111. I'll have a couple more trickle in, but those are kind of the numbers where we're looking at. And then these are some of the other things that we're doing over the summer. And I keep track of numbers just to see how our programs are doing. We need to adjust anything if we need to change the dates, if format, that kind of stuff. Just to make sure that we're continuously increasing our numbers and trying everything that myself and our coaches can think of. Otherwise, those are our youth enrichment classes coming up. Adult enrichment, we're trying backyard check-ins for beginners because there's been some talk about allowing residents in New Richland to be able to start having check-ins. So we're going to try to capitalize on that a little bit and see if we can get some people to register for that class. Otherwise, $1 Million Quartet, this is the first adult bus trip I'm doing since I've been here. Partly because I haven't done it before, but mostly when I talk to other community ed departments, they are all in kind of a consortium, not all of them, a chunk of them are in a consortium together where they all partner to try to get these bus trips to run. And the smaller districts around us can never get these bus trips to run. So Georgia Deneen came into me, she said, I really want to do it. So I'm like, okay, we'll try. So she told me what she wanted to go to, kind of when she wanted to go to. I did all the kind of backroom legwork for it. Just to get the pricing and everything, and she has been amazing. 43 registrations she's picked up, just going around the community and spreading the word, so kudos to her. Any other trip in the future, I'm going straight to her.
Right.
Otherwise, adult recreation, Same stuff, power hour, indoor walking, and then we're continuing with the pickup basketball program that we have going. And our district brochure, the July through September one, the deadline is the end of May for that for distribution, about mid-July. And that one is geared towards, you know, the start of the school year, and then with Dan Stork's notification of sports, it's something that's put up, sorry. Otherwise, facilities, we've got a program on American Legion, a Memorial Day program on May 29th, where Kelly's Pro Start students are catering that event. And this week over in Ellendale, they're doing the Wizard of Oz production in the evenings from after school until 7:40. That's what's kind of going on. Are there any questions about anything?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Macy.
So I think that next tab over on the top is already, that's Sarah's presentation already open. If you go to the top. And then if you want to unplug your, yep.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us
Yeah,
finally. I know
finally,
we've
yeah.
had some scheduling problems, but thanks for being with us tonight. We're anxious to hear what you have to tell us, so
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah. So I'm Sarah Myhack, I'm the food service director. This is my first year in the district. I feel like it's been a pretty successful first year, so I made a slideshow to kind of show some of the things that we've implemented so far. The first thing is kind of the increase in numbers kind of surprised me. Meals served this year versus last year. So last year the meals were free for everyone, but the waiver did not come through to the 22-23 school year. So meals were free last year, but this year they are not unless you're enrolled in the free and reduced program. And we've had 9,180 more school lunches and 2,565 more breakfast just this year. And I broke it down per month and per day as well, and we kind of measure part of our success in those numbers as well. So that's kind of neat to see. There is a bill that was signed for next year for the 23-24 school year, and meals will become free again for all students in Minnesota. We don't have a lot of information on that yet, but that's kind of exciting. And then we'll be able to compare numbers again next year to see if they go up with those free meals next year. Some new and exciting things in the elementary. We've done a healthy snack cart and classroom birthday treats. So with the healthy snack cart, you're able to pay $50 for the full year. The parents can, and it's about 30 cents a day. And then each day the students can go down and pick out a healthy snack. And then you don't have to remember to pack one every day for your students. And then for the classroom birthday treats, parents can go on and they can fill out a form, and in that form there's about 15 different birthday treats to choose from. Birthday cupcakes, ice cream cups, apples, and caramel, just a bunch of different stuff. And then we deliver it in a basket with a birthday balloon, and they pass it out to their classmates, and then I just charge the parents' lunch account. So that's kind of new with elementary. With high school, they kind of ask for a lot of scratch homemade entrees. So we offer about 2 to 3 entrees every day, one of which we try to make a scratch option. I think I got some pictures. That's stromboli, Caesar salad. Most of our pizzas are homemade as well, unless it's like a cheese or pepperoni. Their favorites, I think that's chicken Alfredo. But then we make the salads, we make the wraps the day of. We do homemade pasta salads, coleslaw. Some of their other favorites are the Chipotle pork bowl, Asian noodle bowl. We make homemade sauces as well to go with, like the Chipotle pork bowl. They kind of ask for that sauce on everything, so we make a lot of it. For National Breakfast Week, we tried a few new things. We did the bacon, sausage, egg frittata. We did a omelet bar, and those were pretty successful, so we'll probably do those again. Some other fun items we do are taste tests, special events, holidays, kids helping in the kitchen, and then our Pro Start students. So in the elementary, each month I would do a taste test, and I'd kind of align it with whatever our harvest of the month was. So we have here pomegranate juice, pomegranates, jicama, hummus. So we just have them trying different things every month. Mango, blood oranges. And then I do it at the high school level too. Around Valentine's Day, we're able to get in pink pineapple. Some star anise cookies we did. We like to decorate like for homecoming, and we gear our treats for that as well. Elementary does go all out for Halloween. I think that's the highest number of participation for lunch in the elementary because every kid wants to go through that lunch line. They do a really good job with that. And then just some Easter cupcakes and green eggs and ham, and then candy corn fruit parfait that we did for Halloween, stuff like that. An all green salad bar for St. Patrick's Day, a leprechaun bait for elementary, a pudding cup for high school. And then we use our ProStart students in the elementary to help prep and to help serve. The elementary students absolutely love when they show up in their uniform. It's so cute. And then the boys there are helping do a taste test, and those are the jicama sticks. Here are some just kids helping on their, I think, their study hall. Just because they come in, so we put them to work. And then
College level classes.
right. College English. And this is lettuce from the greenhouse that they came in and prepped and washed so that we could put that on our veggie bar. The 4 grants that I've been awarded this year is the coffee, smoothie, and then the Farm to School First Bite grant, which we received $5,000 locally for. Grown foods, that I used kind of mainly in September and October. And then the Farm to School Full Tray grant that I just got a couple months ago, which is for $53,000 for locally grown foods. For the coffee latte, Midwest Dairy Association gave us a grant, and it was $3,500 in equipment. And you can kind of see all the equipment that we were given down there. Coolers and a cart and signage. And this allows us to offer it with 8 ounces of milk that we put in the coffee, and then we can offer it as part of like the reimbursable breakfast. It's only for 9th through 12th grade because the USDA Smart Snacks only allow 9th through 12th grade to have caffeine. So then on days that we do this, we'll like offer hot chocolate for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders just so they don't feel left out. But that was for the secondary building, and then I received one for the elementary building for a smoothie grant, and they gave us $3,500 worth of equipment as well. You can see it there. And the kids like that. We usually serve it with a Pop-Tart, and that has the 8 ounces of milk in it as well, so it's reimbursable. And then with the Farm to School grant, First Bite grant, which was a $5,000, we were able, this is a farm, RCR, outside of Elma City. And we toured their farm in the summer, and they just had a little bit of everything. So we thought, okay, we'll go with these guys. And when we were there, one of their helpers was a 7th grader from New Richland, so it's kind of neat. So we went through them pretty much all of September, October. All of their veggies were used on our veggie bar, or as our hot veggie. You can't tell it here, but they were pretty excited to be a part of it. They thought it was a pretty neat program. They gave us tiger melons, they gave us a lot of lettuce, a lot of potatoes that we'd cut up and use roast. We'd freeze them as well too and use them later. We got cantaloupe, watermelon, peppers, cucumbers, cherry tomatoes, everything through them. A lot of green beans, which we're able to prep and freeze and use like in November, December, squash, potatoes. And then we're also able with this money to use like sun honey out of New Richland, which we don't use honey that often, but maple syrup we purchased as well, which was out of Henderson, and then apples out of Ellendale, which were really good. So this is kind of just a picture of our veggie bar every day. And then the Farm to School Full Tray grant that I just received for the $53,000. We'll continue to buy local fruits and vegetables from farms in the area. We'll continue to buy local meat, which we have been buying, honey, maple syrup, and then I'm just looking for local places to supply us with cheese next year, and then we'll probably go with like Hope butter for next year as well. And by local, it's anything that's grown in Minnesota. So that's kind of the rundown of food service this year. Any questions?
No, just kudos because
Yeah.
the kids say that the food is amazing. So for finally the review for Richland Food to bump it up over Ellendale, that's a lot.
That's a big deal.
For the kids to want to eat lunch every day, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So good job.
Good, thank you.
I do have just a question of course, in years past, I am trying to think of the term that was used by the state though, but the regulations of portion size and nutrition and all of those things. Now you have these wonderful meals presented or offered to the kids. Obviously, we still have guidelines that we're meeting. I mean, how do you balance that act of between what tastes good, portion size? I think that's kind of gone to the wayside a little bit from complaints anyway. Can you just brush on that a little? And I don't mean to put you on the spot on that.
So we're still with all of those guidelines. We can offer as much as we want of fruits and veggies, and so we try to push that a lot. But then, we still have the same portion sizes for the entrees. So the grain, the meat or meat alternative, that all has to stay within a certain number each day, and it kind of compiles to each week. And so we're still within all of that. You still can't season stuff. So we kind of use cilantro, we'll use different spices. There's a lot of different things that we've been using that, salt-free stuff that they seem to enjoy, that we season a lot of like our hot vegetables with. So, but when they do come up, the high schoolers, we do allow them to get seconds right away.
Sure.
So a lot of them will just get things right away, and they're pretty content. But, so yeah.
Question, so seems to be a lot more food allergies today. Do you have anything for that, or do you run into that much for dairy-free, gluten-free, different things like that? Or?
Yeah, elementary has a lot of them right now, and there's a nice little list that they go by every day. And then I do make a gluten-free and dairy-free lunch and breakfast menu. So, and then the people that have like a doctor's note on file are the ones that I'll just send the menu to directly. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's take our tours. Dave, you want to kind of head that up? We'll,
Yeah, so I think we want to start with you, Brett, then we'll go over to Dan's and then over to Kelly's.
Excellent.
How's that? All right.
Well, while we have a moment, thank you all for joining us this evening. We are excited to see the facilities in action here now after we've been, 2-3 years into the, so thank you for taking time out of your schedules to join us this evening, and excited to see what you can tell us.
All righty.
down in the room.
There should be one left up this green.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and department heads for that also. It's what we do our work for here as board members, and it's great to get out and see it actually in action. So thank you, everyone that made that happen. So moving on to board member.
No, I gotta do mine yet.
Oh, you've got, oh gosh, we gotta kind of trim things back a little bit here tonight.
This is page 1 of 42.
Okay.
Mine will be quick until the close
I
meeting.
don't, okay, you've gotta help us first year
Option
students.
B, option A.
Okay. I didn't take one,
Oh,
of
wait,
course.
he didn't take one.
There's a blank, yeah, there's an option A and B for the New Richland site, and then one for. Before we look at those, I think I did have it in my newsletter that our family service coordinator, that position that was empty this year, not filled, that has been filled through the South Central Human Resource Center. And so very exciting that we have Tanya Wheelock.
T-A-N-Y-A, Tanyan?
Taryn Wheelock.
Karen.
Yes, that's what it is. So that position is filled, and she'll start and be with us in our August back-to-school workshop and new staff orientation. So this, not much to discuss on this other than here's some ideas. Take a look at this stuff. This is presented from by Matt from Bolton Mink. Probably the biggest thing that we have to do with this information is get our buildings and grounds committee back together again, probably pretty soon. Matt kind of gave us a timeline or a deadline. Carla, do you recall what that was?
Yeah, you got the rest of the night. to decide.
Till midnight.
No,
I was like, what?
wasn't it a month?
Yeah,
Month
it
and a
was.
He wasn't really.
It wasn't next week, but
No, I thought it was a month.
obviously a lot of different discussions could take from that. So again, the one, if we look at the Ellendale site, with the Ellendale building on it.
They're all different.
So again, you're looking at that grassy area to the south, that would be identified as staff parking. The horseshoe area, you can see that kind of that speckled area would be some cement coming in, and then that sidewalk. The sidewalk would follow along the building there, coming into the gym entrance. Remember, again, that's going to be a handicap accessible ramps. The draining issues that are there right now, obviously that's all going to be controlled and flowing away. The new grassy area where the trees are right now, that will be separated by some sort of curb that can be driven over. It's not like your regular curb that absolutely will stop you, so that can have access. But it's very clear that this is separated. And again, there'll be some lines. You can see the kind of the dotted line, the curved line there with some arrows. And really, he only had this one suggestion that there's not a lot of creativity or a lot of differences, parallel parking versus, angled parking and things of that sort. So this is adding, does it say on there the number of stalls?
I think it's, I know it's
20?
20 on
33.
one side and 13 on another.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 in the top part, yeah, whatever.
Which would be just huge kind of, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a big.
It's for a normal school day, that is obviously a lot. That it's, the part, yeah, there's some extras there. The larger horseshoe parking lot there with the garage, that's pretty typical. The number of cars that are in there probably isn't that far off from what actually parks there during the day. So it's the daytime parking, the school day parking is not the issue. The 4 or 5 nights a year when concerts and whatnot take
Yeah.
place. 33 will sure be nice, but you're still
Won't
gonna have a
solve
lot
the
of cars.
problem.
And even during junior high events.
Yeah, that's
That'll
true
make a
too.
huge
Yes.
difference
That'd
just
be
for
really
that
nice.
alone.
Yeah. The front, the north parking lot is pretty tight. The stalls aren't real wide and whatnot, so hopefully that would encourage some other staff to come down this
Yes.
way. You know, we do have some designated guest parking, but we can maybe add some as well. but-
It won't be a horrible.
Especially if they're
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of the one and only choice on that,
It's doing now.
the Ellendale parking lot. The New Richland parking lot, again, just a quick overview, and now is not the time to, get into much of a decision-making. Again, we'll get together with our buildings and grounds crew and then come back and kind of just walk through this as we have to, but obviously you can see that the parking lot's extended into the grass area, the vacant lot that we have, that's our lot. There is a 15-foot gap or distance between the end of the lot, which is curbed, and the property line. The exit going out onto Highway 30 is still kind of a big deal. If we don't touch it, it's gonna be fine. If we touch it at all, then the state is probably gonna come in and take it away, basically, and say you can't have it, or,
Does that mean we can't even pave it?
no, we can pave it. We'll pave up to the sidewalk, and then they're gonna pave from the sidewalk to the street, that's
Okay.
their part of it. But if we try to move it at all, then they're gonna say no. So adding another one, that sort of thing, isn't going to happen. The option B with the perpendicular parking is Matt's recommendation. Option A, the slanted parking actually has 11 more stalls, but what was the rationale? He liked the parallel, or the perpendicular parking more.
Because you're not supposed to waste a
Oh,
side
yep,
of a
yep.
parking lot.
Yep.
My only thing, again, with that, and I said it that day, but it's, the east side is gonna have a curb to it, but I didn't know if you should be respectful at all to the residents that lived on the east side, but maybe not by, even if you parked up against that line on that, option B, it's gonna be curved up, so maybe it'll be a nice distinction, you're not backing into Larry's yard and making lots,
Versus now the asphalt just ends into.
It ends into it,
Right.
and
People park,
apparently because of our, the lines are so bad.
Right.
We haven't gone over parking 101, they are parking over there.
Right.
But it's not designed that way,
Right.
it's designed more like
Yep.
option A.
Yep.
You can see on option
I
B,
do too.
again, this is Matt's recommendation, it's our decision. But on the Ash Street side, the west side of the parking lot, that area is a grassy, area, boulevard.
oh, where the slanted lines are?
Yep,
Okay.
no,
This part here.
on B,
Yeah.
Oh,
so the,
Is this
running
working on
around.
the assumption that this is becoming a one?
no, it can go either way,
It still has a,
Yep.
for the purpose of the designs, it's
Right.
still a two-way.
yep.
Okay.
Bolton, Mink, and Matt is working with this, City of New Richland, and they've
Okay.
met with them and kind of, so yes, it could go either way on that. Obviously, the handicap parking, you can see some, that sidewalk on B,
Area.
down to the south with the 3 handicapped, and I guess it's on the north there as well.
I don't think
What we
they can
would
spot it.
do is probably run sidewalk
Yeah.
all the way down that, in front of the first row of cars, run the sidewalk all the way down. And then the same on the other side here too, so, you know, if someone gets out in that last stall, and in the wintertime, there's snow and everything there, they have to walk in the back of the cars, and so if there's a sidewalk there and it's cleaned and everything else, and that is I believe you said a 20-foot wide patch of grass. So it gives some nice character and some look. We're giving up some parking spots with it, but the safety with the sidewalk, the separation of the street. What we'd also probably do is where our sign is up front on 30, we'd probably push that back a little bit. They can have a grassy area, very similar to what's on the east side there, just to kind of emphasize this is a part of the school. It's a separation, it's a nicer look, and so, you know, if we expand that or push that back, we could then, typically there's a 10-foot barrier between the parking lot and the resident, and right now we have it at 15, so we have some give and take there. So, you know, those are the things that we kind of get into and talk a little bit more. A is a one-way, you know, everything's directed one way. B is both lane traffic, you know, traffic going both ways. You can see that they cut out, there's only 2 entrances or exits regardless. You know, right now we have 2, we know we would add 1 in the grassy area, but then they're taking away the 1. And part of that too was just that safety. If you have 3 exits, now 3 rows of cars coming out, the congestion, the safety issues and all of that. So, again, just look at this, you know, kind of mull it over, let it sink in, write down your questions, and then.
Option B gives us, oh, you got it right there, so 20 more
Yep.
spaces.
Now, the other part that he said is, it's, right now it's designed for 151. The way that the students are parking probably makes it closer to 120.
I was gonna say 60.
Yeah.
So,
It's a bunch of bid-
going up to 171 is, in theory, it's 20 more stalls than we have, but the reality, it's probably 50 more usable stalls than we have right now.
When we have parking 101 available, we make that available to the community, right?
We're gonna take it. It's a revenue source.
Perfect.
Park on.
Perfect.
That B2 does have a kind of that cutout.
Transportation guy is supposed to.
Take it a lot.
There is some street parking that would be kind of cut out there too, right across from the office doors, which would maybe emphasize kind of that office entrance a little bit too. You'd have to still kind of dress it up a little bit, but.
So on the east side of A, this area right here, I mean, the arrows just go this way and this way. They're not allowed to go out this way? How does that work? Is that,
It'd be going against traffic because they're parking in this way.
Right,
oh.
yeah, you gotta follow the.
I gotta follow, well, they don't have any arrows over there, so I got confused. Well, they don't.
No,
Are
I
you
know what
supposed
you're
to go that way or
Yes,
not?
yes, that would be a one-way going south.
Yeah.
But see, on that one, there's no parking on that east border.
Right.
That's,
So then you would go this way.
And that's fine if everybody does it, but as soon as one comes this way to get out that way, then it screws
You're
it
gonna be
all up.
monitoring
I
that,
know,
right?
yeah.
I think there, the event night and stuff like that too, again, that, we can train our students
You could come in here.
pretty well,
Right.
hopefully, but
Yes.
event nights and
Right.
one-ways and stuff like that, and again,
Come
but
in,
we,
come in.
we have that at Walmart and Hy-Vee and all those other
Yeah.
places too, you just have to go.
Which is too bad is that,
I like that more.
like option B, if you could have done 2 driveways off the highway
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a true one-way, you
Yeah.
know, you can
Yeah.
only come in this way and you can go out that way.
and that one, again, that was on my drawing, that's an
Yeah.
absolute no-no and too close and, yeah,
Is this still,
they're pretty
where
Pretty picky
would
on
this be where the,
driveways and
And the one-way
entryways and
would be
that,
right
that
here.
sort of
I
thing.
think that's what
Right
they're
there.
talking, or someplace in between here, you know, it isn't that important.
because
All right.
it's still saying snow
Any
storage.
questions on that yet?
Or something.
I'll put something out here again to the Buildings and Grounds Committee that, like Carla said, we probably will meet again, or some of the decisions have to be made in about a month, but if we get a committee together, or get our committee together, if we want some board action on it and stuff like that, we have to start now, not later. Other parts of my report, I just wanted to mention again that we have been meeting weekly and sometimes twice a week with Site Logic. Our meeting this week was picking out carpet, picking out tile and floor tiles and wall tiles for the bathroom project in Ellendale, and the partition colors and things of that sort. So Matt met with us for quite a while, and then we went into that kind of that interior design mode, and we're picking out the different looks, and then we have another meeting this week. Next week we have quite a few meetings. Like I said, at least it feels like it's at least one a week right now, kind of getting into that design and moving forward. Now we picked out door colors, and so. And then the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, just kind of a heads up here too. Rick and I had talked about this later on in the agenda. Obviously, we're going to be dealing with Dan's resignation and or potential resignation and potential hire. And I am optimistic.
It'll be awfully uncomfortable for the next year and a half.
But now again, with that obviously creates a vacancy. So I made a copy here of the information that I had put in the newsletter. Again, just kind of what our options are, and then this is the other bit of information too that goes along with it. So basically, I'm telling you that Rick will be contacting everyone on the board just to get a feel, gauge the interest and how we want to proceed with that. If you have any questions, or if you want me involved as far as suggestions, ideas, and honestly, but not literally, if you as a board will make this decision. If Rick is going to reach out and get your input and gauge your interest and whatnot, and if you want someone else to hear that, not just Rick, then reach out to me as well and let me know. So, anything to add on that?
No, I think that's, wherever you're comfortable sharing your information with. However, like I said, we are the Board of Education to the superintendent, so it is truly a board decision of how we proceed. And this lays out some options of what our requirements are to fill that vacancy. So the good thing about it, or good or not so good thing, we've done it in the not too recent past, so we're a little familiar with how the system works. So questions, you can sure reach out, like we said, to either of us and share them. So
that will conclude my report then.
good, thank you.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Board member comments. Does anyone have anything to add this evening? Again, thank you to the people that were involved with the tour this evening. I'm not sure if anyone, I apologize that I wasn't able to make it to the play over the weekend, but I did have a friend contact me after and said it was very quality performance and enjoyed it thoroughly. So shout out to the people that were involved with the recent performance at the secondary site. So thank you to those people involved. Next meeting will be Monday, May 15th, and that will be over in Ellendale. With that, we'll move into the consent agenda items. And Mr. Mayak, would you please introduce those?
Yeah, as always, the board's been made aware and presented with the information that if anything is removed, and again, we are removing the Dan Schmidt's hire and resignation, but we'll act as one. If there's any questions, you can raise them now, but again, I'm making the recommendation. I should read the donations. I don't have that in front of me,
I do.
and I can't read that.
NRHEG PTO for roller skating, $1,143. NRHEG PTO for the smart room mats, $3,709.80. and the NRHEG softball boosters for a softball bag, $111.93. Total this past month was $4,964.73. Year to date, $114,317.95. So once again, impressive.
Thank you for
Yeah, sorry.
taking that on. So I would make the recommendation to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mr. Phillips to approve the consent agenda items as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're all aware of Mr. Schmidt accepting a transportation position here at NRHEG. Familiar with his duties as school board member will have to be rescinded. So, Mr. Mayak, would you want to introduce that anymore?
Sue verified this. Well, before I go on to that, I am going to take a break here too on our consent agenda. Mrs. Bentley has been in our meetings, in your meetings for years and years and years, and as you notice that she is on the retirement, that she's going to enjoy that phase of her life, so congratulations on that, and thank you for a wonderful 25 years.
Thank you.
If I can too, the path with Miss Bentley here has been wonderful to say the least, but one memory I will share with is the move and the merge of the elementaries, and Miss Bentley and I worked, I think, well together in that move, and some of those things I'll forever remember. I think you probably gave me some pointers in the English language, not that I'm completely fluent to this day, but I think about by Jeff Reese's, you pointed out some of my grammar wasn't proper, and so, but no, forever grateful for you for all the work you've done and the students you've reached out to, and I always think it's wrong that we have these thank yous when people are leaving the district, but you truly deserve that, and appreciate everything you've done there. So, and the committees you've served on. I mean, we've worked closely as a board with you also, up and above just that teaching position. So, we'll continue the celebration of your departure.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
So now back to the other
Yes.
motion. Sorry for the sidetrack there, but
Thank
and
you.
again, Sue verified that I was asking about the order of this, and the resignation has to come first, and then the hire after. So I'm asking for your approval to accept Dan's resignation contingent on approving his hire as transportation site manager.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Engel, seconded by Ms. Erke to accept the resignation of Dan Schmidt as school board member. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And now, Mr. Mayak,
Very simply, I recommend the hire of Dan Schmidt as our transportation site manager.
So moved.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Phillips, seconded by Ms. Erke to approve Dan Schmidt as the transportation site manager. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This brings us to closed session to discuss labor negotiation strategy related to negotiations with Education Minnesota NRHEG Teacher Bargaining Association as permitted by MS Section 13D.03. We will now be in,
Oh, we have to,
oh yes, we need a motion for that. So moved. Okay.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Schmidt, second by Ms. Tyre. All in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are going to closed session. If anybody needs a quick break, it's been a long evening.